Okay, in this little section, I'm going to be talking about managing your body, particularly in terms of dressing for the occasion is a good tip. There is no formal requirement that you dress a certain way in our class, but if it helps you to feel confident to dress a particular way, then by all means do it. If it helps you to give a good speech, also the dress, and kind of appearances can speak to your ethos, believe it or not. What's ethos? Credibility, expertise, right? So, say for example, someone was talking about being a lifeguard, right? And they might like look like a lifeguard. It's going to give them more credibility if they wear their lifeguard uniform when they're talking about being a lifeguard. It's going to like go along with their message, right? And so taking that into consideration, right, can really go a long way, right? A job interview, for example, right? You're going to dress for that job interview if you want to be successful, right? And so how you dress is actually, for better or worse, a form of communication, right? That you should think about, particularly in public speaking sort of settings. You want to face the audience? Yes, that's key. So I don't know. Sometimes students will kind of like angle away from the audience, or kind of like sideways, and you don't want to do that. You want to face your audience, particularly for like so we can see your face, we can see your gestures, and we can hear you. Right? If you're not facing the audience, it can be difficult to hear you. Make eye contact. Yes, this is key. Right? You don't want to like scan, like with your eye contact. You want to deliver lines to individual audience members if you can. So look right at them when you speak a full line or a full sentence. You don't want to be like crazy, going side to side very quickly with everybody, but you want to connect with individual eyes and faces in the audience. And this will actually should help you kind of like reduce your anxiety because you'll see that the people are following, that the people are just people and they're not necessarily judging you, right? And so making good connecting eye contact, inviting eye contact with people with each line, right, is key. Some people will sometimes tell you to look above the audience, like if you're too nervous to look at individual faces, look above the audience. But that also isn't helpful because it looks like you're looking above the audience, right? So connect with individual people when you speak to them. So you talk a little bit and look at somebody's face, and then you'd hold that, and then you'd look over at somebody else and talk a little bit, right? You don't want to be like too glancing in your eye contact, but you do want to see everybody too, making sure to see the sides of the room as well as people in the front of the room. And then display appropriate facial expressions. This is key. I think sometimes when we get nervous, we'll kind of our face will kind of not show the appropriate facial expression. Like sometimes when we're nervous, we like smile for no reason, or I know I do that, or I'll scowl for no reason, and I'm just nervous, right? So making sure that your face, because you think of your face is actually a big part of how you communicate, right? So making sure that it kind of goes along with what you're saying. If you're conveying energy, right? What's your face going to look like? If you're conveying sadness, what's your face gonna look like, right? And so making sure that it lines up with your message. So yeah, part one of managing your body is these very basic things like thinking about how you're dressed, making sure to face the audience, making good, inviting eye contact with each person in the room, and displaying appropriate facial expressions.